Welcome to this deep dive. Today we are looking at a really fascinating document called Day 17. And our mission today is, well, exploring this wildly counterintuitive idea.
Right. The idea that true maturity isn't actually about how much you know. It is about how willing you are to learn.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right.
Because, I mean, we usually treat our knowledge like a bank account, right?
Yeah.
Like assuming more deposits automatically make us richer.
Yeah. But this source argues that treating your intellect that way might actually bankrupt your character, which is, a pretty strong statement.
It really is. I mean, when your mental balance gets too high, you kind of stop taking deposits from other people.
You totally do. You just assume you're the smartest person in the room.
Mm.
And that is the exact mechanism that makes knowledge dangerous. It breeds this pride that completely closes the door to further growth.
Oh, wow. So the accumulation of knowledge becomes the very thing that blinds you to your own ignorance.
Exactly.
That is a massive paradox. Like, your expertise in a subject may be the exact thing making you an unbearable partner or a bad friend.
Yeah, or a terrible leader. And since that kind of pride is so, insidious, the text has to show us how to actually navigate it.
Right.
What's fascinating here is how the text points to historical, specifically biblical, figures to show how arrogance has to be systematically dismantled.
Right, like Moses. I mean, he had that top-tier Egyptian education.
Yeah, which likely made him incredibly self-reliant. So the text suggests his 40 years in the wilderness wasn't just a punishment. It was a necessary mechanism.
To strip away his reliance on his own elite intellect.
Exactly, so he could actually become teachable. And the same pattern applies to David. His crushing failures kind of shattered his kingly ego.
Or Peter, right, with his painful public mistakes.
Right. He had to realize his raw enthusiasm just wasn't enough. The disciples spent years learning before they were ready to lead.
Okay, I hear that, but I have to push back a little here.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean for you and me?
What do you mean?
Well, the listener driving to work right now isn't leading ancient nations or, wandering through a literal desert. How does this apply to a normal Tuesday?
Ah, I see. Well, because the wilderness isn't always a desert, usually it's your living room.
Oh, wow. That hits close to home.
Right. The text shifts the focus to the fact that no one enters marriage or a friendship or parenting just knowing everything.
Definitely not.
The core mechanism of developing what the author calls a teachable heart happens in those mundane, everyday interactions.
Or it means listening before responding, I imagine.
Exactly. It is recognizing that when someone offers loving correction, they aren't launching a personal attack on your identity.
Right.
God might deliver wisdom through a sermon, or a frustrated spouse, a toddler, or, hey, even a podcast host you vehemently disagree with.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. If correction isn't a personal attack, then it is essentially resistance training for the soul.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, because if you just go to the gym and lift air, you aren't building anything. Without the friction of hearing where you're wrong, your character can't build any muscle.
And just like physical training, that friction actually hurts. Psychological defensiveness kicks in.
Oh, for sure.
Because our brains often interpret a challenge to our beliefs the exact same way they interpret a physical threat.
Right, admitting I was wrong feels like this sudden loss of status. Wait, so if our brains are hardwired to treat correction like a physical threat, how do we actually bypass that?
Well, the document actually gives a framework. It is not just theoretical advice to, be more humble.
Oh, thank goodness. What is the framework?
Since building that soul muscle requires friction, the text prescribes a highly uncomfortable daily exercise.
Okay, I'm bracing myself.
It challenges you to invite a trusted mentor or your spouse or close friend to honestly answer just one question.
Which is,
What is one area of my life where you believe I need to grow?
let's just pause and acknowledge how utterly terrifying that is.
It really is.
I mean, asking for unfiltered criticism. My natural instinct is to immediately build a defense attorney case in my head the second someone critiques me.
Which is exactly why the text includes a crucial, non-negotiable rule.
Do not defend yourself.
Yep. You must listen without interrupting and without defending yourself. You simply write down what they say.
Wow. Just write it down.
Yeah. And because this is a spiritual text, the final instruction is to take that written critique into prayer. You sit with the discomfort instead of arguing your way out of it.
Fighting the urge to object is like the ultimate heavy lifting in that soul resistance training we talked about.
It absolutely is.
So what does this all mean for us? The overarching life principle here is that the people who grow the most are usually the ones who deliberately remain the most teachable.
Yeah. The moment you assume your knowledge account is full, you just stop growing. A teachable heart doesn't just tolerate correction, it actively pursues it.
as the only antidote to pride. Which brings us to a final thought for you to take away today. If a teachable heart welcomes correction from a trusted friend, what would happen if you actively sought out a critique from someone you strongly disagree with?
That is a challenging thought.
Right. Imagine sitting down with an opponent, listening to their perspective on where you fall short, with absolutely zero intention of defending yourself. If knowledge is a bank account, maybe that kind of radical listening is the only way to realize your balance wasn't quite as high as you thought it was.